Well, how you going, everyone? Pete here again. We just had the police in again, like it's pretty well every day. This is about the COVID Safe app. Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the actual COVID Safe register. This is the register. This is what I got. And I showed James from the Senior Sergeant James from Mascot Police. And this is from the 4th to the 7th, as you can see. And we just had the police in again. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you what this is. And this is a QR code. This is a QR code registration where you it became New South Wales QR code to become mandatory. So this is going to show you what mandatory means versus law, right? Mandatory versus law. Okay, so once you register, once you've registered, you'll receive a unique QR code, and you scroll down, blah, 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 blah. Register, fill in your business details. Business details, here it is. And go over there, blah, 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 blah. I declare, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to the privacy policy. So you tick on you click on the privacy policy, and it comes to this, right? And this is the privacy policy for the QR code check-in, right? It's the privacy policy for the QR code check-in. So when you go down, you go New South Wales Services, blah, 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 blah. So this is, remember, this said mandatory, right? Okay, mandatory. So this is going to give you the distinction between mandatory and law, right? So you click down here. To perform this service, we will also collect personal information and business of a business representative. That includes full name, business role, email, blah, blah, blah. Even though, now this is where it gets interesting, even though you are not required by law to provide the above information, if you do not provide the relevant information requested, you may not be able to complete your registration and receive the associated benefits, right? So, like I said, this is a contract. It's not actually a law or anything you have to really do. So we will not provide your personal information to third parties for any purposes not already stated in the privacy statement, or which you will not have otherwise consented, unless the New South Wales Department of Customer Service is required or authorised by law to do so. And then it says, we may share de-identified information for research and statistical purposes. De-identified, what the hell does that mean? Information in aggregate data may be provided to third parties outside of New South Wales Department of Customer Service. So they're going to share the information once you sign the privacy policy. Now James, Senior Sergeant James, he came in. He didn't know about this. He'd never seen it before. Now remember, if you sign this, right, which is not a law, it's a mandate, right? Mandated, right? It's not law. You're not required by law to provide the above information. You are mandated, which is a rule, and then it says you're not required by law to provide the above information. Guess what that does? That flips you over into this. Because you've signed a contract, right? You've signed a contract, a privacy policy, to provide information of your customers to a third parties, right? Guess what you're committing? You're committing a crime. Because you can actually be in prison for 5 years for doing it. So what's happened is, a person commits an offence if a person requires another person to download COVID Safe communication device, or have COVID Safe in operation communication device, or force consent to uploading, blah, 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 blah. So imprisonment for 5 years or 300 penalty device, or both. And then he refuses to enter, let a person to enter, and all the other stuff, right, that people are doing. So I said to James, I said, I'm super confused. I don't understand any of this, because that says it's not a law. This says it's a mandate, right? Mandatory for all businesses and workplaces to use the New South Wales Government QR code. You flip it over, even though you're not required by law to provide the above information. James hadn't seen that. So what I'm doing is just doing everything as regards to the law, you know. So I've done exactly what it says here, the QR code, blah 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 blah, and I can't do it because I'll go to jail. So I said to him, I'll go to jail for 5 years if I force people to do this. So there you go. That's what the breakdown is, and the new rules are here. Face shields are not substitute for. This is from last night. So this is exactly what it's exactly the same as it's always been. So yeah, thanks, mate. And face shields are not a substitute for face masks. However, people unable to wear a face mask may find it easy to wear a face shield. Is this the case for you? Ensure the face shield covers the sides of your face below and clean and disinfect. So face shields are not a substitute for face mask. However, people who are unable to wear a face mask may find it easy to wear a face shield. What does that mean? What does that mean? How can you make any sense of that comment? Face shields are not a substitute for face masks. However, people who are unable to wear a mask may find it easier to wear a face shield. Now, how more confusing could that be? And exemptions, over here, you go to exemptions. Lawful reasons for not, this is from last night, right? Lawful reasons for not wearing a face mask. The public health order includes a number of lawful reasons for not wearing a mask. You are not required to wear a mask if you have a physical or mental health illness or condition or disability that makes wearing a mask unsuitable. For example, if you have a skin condition, an intellectual disability, autism, trauma, that pretty well describes everybody. Everybody. Please be respectful to people who are not wearing a mask, as the reasons for not wearing a mask are not always visible or obvious. So you can't ask a person, this is what it says, you can't ask a person why they're not wearing a mask, because you've got to be respectful if they have a problem wearing a mask, because you don't know the medical history. So then it says the documentary evidence or to support not wearing a mask. Yeah, exactly, Nadine. How the hell do you make any sense of this? How the hell can you actually say, I know what's going on? If you're stopped by a regulatory officer, what's a regulatory officer? Is that a health officer or a medical officer, or is it a police person? It doesn't quantify it. You don't know. They will ask you to confirm the lawful reason for you not wearing a mask. Then it says this, please be respectful for people who are not wearing a mask, as the reasons for not wearing a mask are not always visible or obvious. Then if you're stopped by a regulatory officer in a setting, you must provide, they'll ask you to confirm the lawful reason for not wearing. What does that mean? It doesn't match with the respectful bit. So it completely contradicts it. You know, the police are completely confused. I've had them here today again about the QR code. They want me to write down people's names when they come in. That's breach of privacy. That's a breach of privacy. That's a breach of privacy. I can't do that. It's privacy. I don't know what to do. I'm completely confused because nobody seems to know. Just comply. Just comply. Just comply. Just comply. But you look at the law and it says don't comply. So, you know, yeah, Sam is spot on. But the basics of it is that they're getting people to comply with all this stuff and nobody knows what the actual law is. But if you look it up, a mandate clearly shows you it's not a law. So it says that you're not required by law to provide the above information. You're not required by law. And then if you do that, which is breach of privacy for people, I haven't worn one either. And then it goes to Privacy Act, I can go to jail. So I don't know what to do because the police, you know, James had never seen this. My lawyers had never seen this, you know. Nobody I know has looked at the privacy policy on the QR code, which says it's not a law. So anyway, we've all got to just get up to scale with the laws. And the Privacy Act clearly states you can't force anybody to do it. You can ask them. And then what happens then? They don't want to do it. So there's no record of them coming into your shop. There's no record. So what is it for? What's the purpose of asking a person to record their name on this sheet, which I got, this thing, which I downloaded, recorded visitors, and they don't want to do it? You can't make them. It's not a law. You're breaching their privacy if you ask them to do it and they do it. And then the face mask rules, you know, you've got to be respectful of people if they actually haven't got a face cloth on. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Everybody's just got to start saying no. The face cloth, like I said the other night, it's like completely contradicting. Everything's a contradiction. You don't understand anything because nothing works. I mean, it says here clearly, mandate, and you go over here, privacy policy, even though this is not, you're not required by law to the above information. And then you breach that, you go into the Privacy Act, which you get jailed for 5 years for forcing people to QR code. And then you go to the face masks rules, it says it's all completely different, and it's all exactly the same. It hasn't changed at all. So anyway, we've all just got to sit down and go, whoa, what's going on? Start saying no, and be respectful, because it says that in the actual new one. Please be respectful of people. And it says, you know, masks, it should not be worn by toddlers 2 years. And so babies remember, babies and children aren't affected by this so-called incredibly infectious disease. We just got to say no. It's just unbelievable. But there, this is what it says. Please be respectful to people who are not wearing a mask, as reasons for not wearing a mask are not always visible or obvious. It's like, it's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Who's doing this stuff and who writes this stuff? I'd like to know. Anyway, have a good one and download this stuff. The face mask rules, that's from today, 18th of the 7th. Last night I downloaded about 2 o'clock in the morning. Download it and get onto it and get onto the this is the Privacy Act, Section 94H, and this is the killer, right? This is, to me, is the end of the end game, which everybody's got to do, to register your business at COVID Safe. And then it says it's a mandate. And then you go over the row, like I've shown you a few times now, and it says, even though you are not required by law to provide the above information. It's like, what the hell's going on? You can't comply. It's impossible to comply. Excellent. I just can't get my head around it. The police come in and they come in all stern and they leave confused. You know? I just can't believe it. It's just, oh yeah. Anyway, leave it there. Just download this stuff. Get all on point. Start understanding what's going on. And oh my God, it's like this. I'm not going to jail for 5 years. There's no way. I said that to the police. I'm not going to jail for 5 years. They said, but you're not going to go to jail. I said, yes, I am. I'm breaching the Privacy Act. He said, what's that? And I showed him. I don't know. It's like you're in this kind of surreal bloody movie. Anyway, I'll leave it there and get onto this stuff, people, because this is what we got to do. We've all got to carry these around in a bloody bag until everybody's informed. Face mask rules, the new ones. Please be respectful. Face masks is sort of serious. I just can't get my head around. Remember, oh God, we're sorry. Please be respectful of the people, you know. It says, please be respectful to people. Not wearing a mask is that reasons for not wearing a mask are not always visible or obvious. And then the police, you're going to ask you, oh my God. You carry the papers, yeah, exactly. Oh my God. A disease with 99.97% natural recover. You have no idea what the rules are. You look up the law and the law states you're not supposed to do the rules. Babies and children aren't affected. The average age is 83, dying in nursing homes with pre-existing conditions. It's just, oh, Jesus Christ. And now you've got to register names. And if you take the name down, you're breaching the Privacy Act because you're telling them to put their name down for no reason. It's like, oh my God. This is no disease. Anyway, oh my God. It's Australia, you're standing in it. Holy crap. Anyway, have a good one, and we'll do another update with Loonyland again. Have fun. See ya.